So in my mind, I view that as increasing the richness of the economy.
You've been to Thailand quite often. How do you look at Thailand's economy and what's the chances of recovery?
Well, I've been coming to Thailand now for more than 40 years, 42 years, and you can see the change in 42 years. It's a marvelous change. So the bounce back from the recovery from the crisis is very impressive, and so I think that it will probably recover robustly. Obviously, part of this will depend on the success in decoupling, because I do think that America is not going to have an easy time. A lot of debate in the United States. Is it going to be a W? Is it going to be L? Is it going to be a wobbly L?
What is it? V? W?
Nobody talks about a V. They talk about a W, which means a little bit of recovery, then things getting worse. Most people think of that really some version of a D, of a W is the most likely. And the debate right now is, will the next downward leg occur in 2010 or 2011? Very few people are seeing a robust recovery.
This is about American economy.
About America.
The news is not good.
The news is overall not good. I mean, but it's not a surprise. I mean, you say the stock market does well, yes, but that's just a gamble.
Right.
You look at the real news, and that is consumer spending, and it's behaving just as predicted. Weak. And even the positive news is negative when you look at it more deeply.
The positive news is negative itself.
Because, for instance, profits are up. Why are profits up? Firms are doing a better job of cost cutting. What does that mean? They're firing workers. So it's great. Profits are up because they fired workers. But for the economy,
the unemployment rate,
unemployment is going up.
That's the negative side of the positive news.
Exactly. So when you look at it, things are getting better than they were in the worst.
Right.
All the forecasts for 2009, 10, and even into 11 are growth that is less than 3%. So the standard forecasts are seeing unemployment increasing through the next two and a half years.
Up to 10%?
Well over 10.
Well over. Now it's what, 9 point something?
9.3.
Yes.
Yeah, those numbers have to be, are sometimes the unemployment rate goes down because people get so discouraged they don't even look for jobs.
Yeah.
But that's not a good measure. We have a broader measure, which includes those who are discouraged from working part-time because they can't get full-time jobs. And that number is well over 15% now. So, 1 in 6 people can't get a job, full-time work.
So there's no point of having a recovery when unemployment goes up.
Exactly. Well, the administration or other people will say the recession is over. And what they will mean is the growth has become positive.
Right.
But for most citizens,
they don't feel it.
They don't feel it because what they mean is, can I get a job and am I getting paid well? And if the unemployment rate is going up, wages are going to be stagnating, and insecurity is going to be high. And it's particularly true in the United States because we are the only advanced industrial country that doesn't provide health insurance. When you lose your job, you lose your health insurance. And you're unemployed, you lose your home, you lose your life savings. It's a disaster.
So you don't have confidence in President Obama, do you?
Well, I have confidence in his heart.
Only the heart, not the mind, not the brain.
Well, he's being subjected to enormous political forces, yeah. And unfortunately, the financial markets, which brought on this crisis, have played a disproportionate role in designing the strategy for dealing with the crisis.
Is it because of his advisors, his cabinet, people like the Treasury Secretary, Timothy Geithner, or his chief advisor, Larry Summers, your good friend?
Yeah, I think, I think there was a decision made about, a very difficult decision, made very early on. One view said we have to get somebody that would get the confidence of the financial markets. But the problem was that the financial markets had behaved so badly that they didn't have the confidence of the rest of America. So you got somebody who got the confidence of financial markets, you almost by nature lost
public confidence.
Public confidence. So you have this trauma, that has gotten much worse since the election. You bailed out, you gave all this money to Wall Street, and what did they do? They used it to pay bonuses.
Yeah.
They used it to pay out dividends. They didn't use it to lend. So the anger of most of America towards the financial markets has become very strong.
So why did Obama take that action when he knew in his heart that he was spending taxpayers' money to bail out the rich, the Wall Street people? The poor, the middle-class Americans would not tolerate that. Why doesn't Obama realize that?
I think at the time he thought that if we could get the financial markets fixed,
yes,
the economy would be fixed,
the people would be happy.
And the economy got fixed, all would be forgiven.
Right.
Even if it was inequitable, even if it was unfair, if you fixed the financial markets and that led to fixing the economy, you could get away with murder.
Okay.
But to me, it seemed very clear the financial markets were only part of the problem. So that even fixing them leaves the underlying problem, the one I referred to earlier, that we had a debt-driven economy, and that problem was not going to be solved simply by fixing the financial market.
Right.
And secondly, illness with the financial markets was much deeper than anybody in the financial markets wanted to admit. And so, to me, throwing money at the financial markets predictably would lead not to more lending, but to exactly the kind of behavior that we saw, money going into bonuses, dividends, because that's what their incentives were. So that was the critical judgment error. And because they didn't go back to lending, Americans saw this as outrageous.
Right.
They thought they were getting money for recapitalizing the banks that would eventually lead to lending. They didn't get what they bought. What they saw is more inequity. And that in turn has been one of the factors undermining confidence in the administration and makes it more difficult to deal with all the other items on the agenda.
What would you have advised President Obama to do if you were in the position to do that? If you were Larry Summers, if you were Timothy Geithner?
I would say very simply, play by the rules of capitalism.
Which is?
The rules of capitalism say if a bank owes more money, or if any firm owes more money than it can pay, it goes into